Καλό απόγευμα. Εκ μέρους του Ανοιχτού Πανεπιστημίου Κύπρου θα ήθελα να σας ευχαριστήσω για τη σημερινή παρουσία σας, τόσο τους τηλεπαρόντες, όσο και τα άτομα τα οποία είναι σήμερα μαζί μας με φυσική παρουσία, στο εργαστήρι, το οποίο έχει θέμα Academic Skills Writing. We'll switch to English because the invited speaker today is Dr Iryna Losieva, Associate Professor of the Franko National University of Lviv, who is visiting the Open University of Cyprus in the context of the Erasmus International Mobility Programme. And we're very happy to have Dr. Losieva with us, actually this week. This is the last session that she will be delivering for the Open University of Cyprus students, and it is an open workshop on academic writing skills. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Dr. Losieva to start her workshop. And we're more than happy to have any contributions from you. If you have any questions, you can write them on chat, raise your hands, and we'll discuss everything that you have. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for introducing me. And again, having my fourth section today. Again and again, I will say that it's a great chance for me to be here, to be hosted and to be welcomed by the Open University of Cyprus, to gain a kind of new experience for me. And today I will try to do my best and give a short overview of some skills which are essential when you are to deal with academic writing. It looks like that regardless of the sphere in which you are engaged, in which you are involved, academic writing skills are always important and necessary if we are to create a kind of writing which has to be organized in a formal style with consideration of all the norms and necessary regulations or rules of academic writing style. So to start with, I would like to have a look at the outline of our today's presentation. So today we are going to have a look at the very essence of academic writing. So just what is academic writing about? So we have to look at common characteristics of academic writing. So we will deal with categories of academic writing. Some attention will be paid to paraphrasing. The ways of paraphrasing will be considered as well. We will have a look at how to deal with reference and citations, and have a look at different reference styles, the most commonly used styles in academic writing. So some of the highlighted issues for today's presentation. So first of all, I'd like to say a few words about the academic writing itself. So what is academic writing? So it's a formal style of writing that researchers and educators use in scholarly publications. It focuses on evidence-based arguments and logical reasoning to guide a reader's understanding of the subject. Writers can use this format to identify and analyze a concept and propose a theory or rational conclusion. Professionals may use academic writing differently depending on their field. For example, scientists use this type of writing to explain their research and support their findings, while literary critics use scholarly writing to make a convincing argument through fact-based research. Characteristics of the academic writing are the following. So for academic writing style, such things are a must. So formal tone and style, objective argument, use of resources, logical structure, and free of errors. So these are like the main principles of any writing which should be organized in academic style. So let's have a look at formal tone and style. What is meant by it? Academic writing uses a formal style that shows that writers' knowledge and expertise in the subject area. Writers typically use the third-person point of view throughout scholarly writing to show objectivity. Formal writing has a serious tone to give credibility to the ideas the writer is presenting. Objective argument. Academic writing aims to make an objective argument using evidence. Writers support their statements and key points using facts and evidence-based research. They use data and analysis to present an argument. Use of resources is the next characteristics of academic writing, and writers use academic writing to show their knowledge of the subject. They support their conclusions with evidence and cite those resources, often including a bibliography with their work. A bibliography lists a reference list of the academic articles, books, or other resources a writer references throughout the text. It's important to cite sources in academic writing because it gives credit to others for their research and helps to support the major points of the text. If to speak about the structure of a piece of writing, so logical structure, academic writing is clear and logical structure can help readers follow the text and make connections between related concepts. It has an introduction and a conclusion and a well-defined thesis statement. A thesis statement is a summary, typically in the introductory paragraph, that defines the key point or argument of the text. The body of the whole text supports the thesis statement, and the conclusion summarizes the idea and explains its significance. The next common characteristic of academic writing is the absence of any error. So all of them have to be free of, all pieces of academic writing have to be free of errors. So it's important to be clean, for writing to be clean, consistent, and free of error, so that every reader view the text as a credible source. Academic writing uses specific language to convey key points. It also follows grammatical rules and remains consistent with stylistic conventions such as spelling, punctuation, and verb tense. The next thing we will pay our attention to is about the categories of academic writing. So commonly it is 7 categories of academic writing are distinguished. So, and here we can speak about chapters. So academic writers may submit chapters for an edited volume or collection, which features submissions from different authors. These edited publications can offer different viewpoints on a single topic or idea. The chapters follow other styles of academic writing, but may provide less background because readers are likely to have some knowledge of the subject already. Often the writers of these chapters have already published some scholarly documents on the topic, and they may submit shorter versions or smaller pieces of writing for the collection. The next category in academic writing is essay. It's a short piece of writing, usually between 1,500 to 2,000 words, that presents an idea or argument. Typically, an essay aims to convince the reader that an idea using research and analysis. The writer provides context on the subject to help support the argument. Academic writers often publish their essays in scholarly subject journals and other types of publications. The next category, which is distinguished, is about research articles. The research article provides in-depth analysis of the author's independent research and clearly explains the researcher's processes and methods to show how they arrived at a conclusion. It usually refers other data and resources to reinforce the findings of the research. Writers often submit these articles to different publishers and scientific journals. Many times peers in the industry review these articles before the publication. So peer review is a kind of practice to be used if to speak about research articles. Technical reports. Every technical report explains the progress or result of this or that type of technical research. Often researchers write these reports to submit to the sponsor organization funding the research projects. It may include recommendations based on the results of the research and so on and so forth. Then a few words will be mentioned about annotated bibliography, which is a comprehensive list of sources on a topic that includes brief description or evaluation of each source. It summarizes these sources, usually in a paragraph format, so that the reader can understand the general context of each one. For example, the writer may include the source's principal argument, conclusion, and reliability. These bibliographies are independent documents, independent papers that can give the reader an overview of the research and findings on a specific topic. Thesis, a kind of a paper that summarizes the author's research on a specific topic, so it's also a substantial example of a piece of academic writing. And finally, literary analysis. Literary analysis evaluates a literary work, such as a book or collection of poetry. Authors of a literary analysis persuasively communicate their interpretation of an idea or concept into the literature. This analysis often provides enough background and context of the work to support the author's argument. So that was a short information about 7 main categories of academic writing, which are distinguished. And now let's have a look at some of the main academic writing tips. So first of all, we have to provide proper reference and cite all the resources we use. A citation tells the readers where the information came from. In your writing, you cite or refer to the source of information. And a reference gives a readers details about the source so that they have a good understanding of what kind of source it is and could find the source themselves if necessary. So, and one more important thing is to write concisely and summarize. Though some academic works, such as theses, can be lengthy documents, it's important to keep your writing concise to summarize your key points. This can help readers follow your argument, particularly when you're writing about some complex topics. So look for places in your writing where you may repeat concepts you stated previously or where you use redundant phrases. When possible, divide sentences of more than 25 words into 2 or more sentences. And this can improve the readability of the text and make it easier for readers to understand your ideas. So some main tips how to make the piece of writing brief but still informative. So speaking about reference and the styles, the reference should be organized. There are a number of different referencing styles, but there are 4 that are used most widely. 4 most widely used referencing styles, and they are the Modern Language Association System, the American Psychological Association System, the Harvard System, and the Modern Humanities Research Association System. Usually they are presented in abbreviation. So if to have a look at these widely used styles, so let's start with Modern Languages Association System. It's, first of all, it should be mentioned that it's a parenthetical system. So it means that bracketed references in the body of your essay are linked to full-length citations in the bibliography at the end of your essay. The bracket in the body of the essay contains only the author's surname and the page number or numbers you are referring to. So the example is given. So we have the sentence, there is no evidence to suggest there is currently life on Mars. And then we have to provide the information about the, to cite the information about the author. So, and here it's just the name of the author is taken into the brackets, and the numbers can also be added, and the year should be indicated, the number of pages, I mean, right? So if your essay quotes from 2 or more works by the same author, then the bracketed reference should include a shortened version of the title to indicate which book is being referred to. So here we are to give the name of the author and the shortened version of the title of the book and the number of the page, or the number, page number or numbers of the page we are referring to. To speak about bibliography and how it should be organized or compiled according to modern language association system, it lists items alphabetically by the author's last name, and each entry should include in the following order. So first of all, we have to provide the author's name in full, last name, and then follows the first name, the title of the book, the place of publication, the publisher, and the date. The example is given here. So first we can see that the author's name is provided, last name, Burstein, then the first name, Daniel, and the short. Then the name, the title of the book is given, the place of publication, the publisher, and the date of publication. Let's have a look at the next system, which is recognized as one of the most widely used. So American Psychological Association system is also a parenthetical system, but the bracketed references in the body of your essay are the author's surname, the date of publication, and the page or page numbers you're referring to. So the reference always goes at the end of the sentence before the full stop. So if to have a look at the example given, so we can see that the citation or reference is given in brackets. Firstly, we have the name, the surname of the author, the date of publication, and page number. A bibliography, again, is an important issue, and if it is compiled according to this system, so it should be, the items should be listed alphabetically by the author's last name, and each entry should include, like, in the following order. So firstly, it's about the author's surname and the first initial, the date of publication in brackets, then the title of the book, and the place of publication and the publisher. Again, in the example given, we can see how it should be organized. The surname, initials, the date, or the year, which is given in brackets, the title of the book, place of publication, and the publisher. The next system is the Harvard system, which is another parenthetical system, and the bracketed reference in the body of your essay are the following. So you just give the author's surname and the date of publication. The list of works at the end of the essay is headed references according to this system. The works listed in it appear in alphabetical order by the author's surnames and follow the same format as the American psychological association system. And one more system, which is widely used for giving references. So it's Modern Humanities Research Association system. So it does not use bracketed references in the body of an essay. Instead, superscript numbers, like it's shown on the slide, or a footnote, are linked to a sequence of notes which appear either at the foot of the page or in a section at the end of your essay. The note contains the full reference for the book or article you are referring to. So, and how this system or note reference system looks like. So we have a footprint, and the sequence of notes will have the sequence numbers, right? So then the name and the surname of the author is given, the title of the book, the place of publication, the publishing house, and the year of publication, and the number of the page. So as we can see, this system is a bit different from the previous three which were mentioned. So the main thing while dealing with academic writing and creating something in accordance with the norms, be aware that if you produce essays for a particular institution or a particular department, so you have to be sure that you know what system it is using. So your tutors and scientific supervisors may specify one of the four listed above systems, or they may use another one entirely, because other systems are also present and people follow them while dealing with academic writing. So very often the departments can produce sheets, informative sheets, explaining which system they want you to use while dealing with your essay or any other piece of writing. One more skill to master in order to produce successful academic writing is paraphrasing. So paraphrasing, or the ability to say something in your own words. It is also crucial to be able to do it and to know how to do it properly. So paraphrasing is an important skill for successful communication, and that's why it's advisable to know and understand. So the definition of paraphrasing, or what is meant by it. The next thing which is advisable to know is how to put a passage in your own words without changing the main meaning of a paragraph or a passage, and how to find the main idea of the message in order to paraphrase it. So what is paraphrasing? So first of all, it's a rewriting of a part of a text in your own words. It is used to clarify the meaning. Sometimes we can use the paraphrasing to shorten a longer statement, but it always keeps the main ideas. So it should always maintain the main idea of what has been expressed. At the same time, paraphrasing is an important strategy which can be used in order to ensure that you have properly understood the material which has been studied. So in other words, it helps us to understand the original text more fully. So the ability to paraphrase properly is beneficial while creating some piece of writing. To paraphrase, in brief, it can be like mentioned or can be summed up, and we can say that paraphrase is a restatement of the passage's ideas in our own words. The author's meaning is retained, but your wording is used, not the author's. That is the main idea. Paraphrase is effective, and it goes without saying that it's effective, but why is paraphrase effective? So first of all, it makes a passage's meaning clear and more concise. It is an effective learning review strategy. At the same time, it is useful for tasks for which exact detailed comprehension is required. And last but not least, it's a useful way to be certain you understand difficult or complicated material. So the next thing is how to paraphrase. How to paraphrase according to rules and norms of successful academic writing. So in order to be successful and do it effectively, it's advisable to remember and to keep to some of the steps. So first of all, we have to read the passage to be paraphrased twice, read it slowly and carefully, and highlight the key words. So the key words are like the first point to start with. Highlight the key words. The step 2, as you read, pay attention to exact meaning and relationships among the ideas. So you have to see the link between the ideas, to grasp the link and to see the relationships among them. Start paraphrasing with one sentence and paraphrase sentence by sentence. Read the sentence and express the main idea in your own words. Don't try to paraphrase word by word. So word by word paraphrase is not the option in this case. The next step you have to follow and keep to is try to circle any words or phrases you do not understand. Use the dictionary or just look up for the definition of the word or phrase. Read the passage again, placing the definition you managed to find of the unfamiliar words in the phrase. Read through the passage again and restate the phrases in your own words. You may also combine several original sentences into a more coincide paraphrase. And finally, review your paraphrase, looking for any possible errors, if there are any. And as a rule, paraphrasing should take up the same amount of space that the original text does. It shouldn't be like less or more in its size. Keep in mind that paraphrasing shouldn't be turned into summarizing, as these are two completely different activities. While summarizing, we have to cut on the amount of the material, about 30% of the original, and paraphrasing takes up nearly the same amount of space that the original text does. There are some tips and techniques to be used when we're working on paraphrasing. And the most common is the technique of using synonyms as well as antonyms. So at the very starting point, the first set of tips is about synonyms, which will help you restate something in your own words, as synonyms are words with similar meanings. So, and in the examples provided here, we can just have a look at how it works. So the sentence is given. The Arabic language is one of the hardest to learn. So if to highlight the important phrases or words, so our attention can be paid to the adjective the hardest. So, and we have to think of any possible synonyms, so the words conveying the same meaning, and as an option, we can make it in the following way. The Arabic language is one of the most difficult to master. To learn, to master, the hardest, the most difficult. So that's the easiest and very simple way how to paraphrase. One more technique is about antonyms, so it's organized in the same way. So also a phrase might be an additional paraphrase tip. So for example, in the sentence, a lot of people nowadays are bilingual. So in this sentence, we can use a phrase in order to create paraphrasing. So instead of bilingual, we can use the phrase people who speak two languages. So, and the word bilingual can be transformed into a phrase that reveals the same meaning. So as a result, we will have a sentence like that. A lot of people nowadays speak two languages. So being able to speak two languages means to be bilingual. One more thing to keep in mind is, while paraphrasing, you should restate the passage in your own words, not just substitute them. So substituting words is helpful, but used alone does not constitute paraphrasing. It is not enough to create a paraphrase. To paraphrase, you must get the idea and paraphrase it in your own words. You should be able to read the passage, look away for a while, and be ready to restate it in your own words. Both structure of the sentence and the key words are to be paraphrased. So just to substitute the words will be not enough. So to sum up, we can speak about the following. So in order to create an appropriate paraphrase, you should read the passage carefully, find the main ideas, highlight important words and phrases, put the main points in your own words, and just paraphrase. So now let's have a look at some of the examples. So for example, the original sentence is, adverbs are a major part of everyday life. The sentence is given, has to be paraphrased. So following the steps of paraphrasing, let's highlight the key words. As we can see, the words highlighted captured the key ideas. So, and the words which are highlighted in this sentence are, as you can see, adverbs, major part, and everyday life. So let's have a look at two examples of possible paraphrasing and decide which one is better and correct. So the first paraphrase is, advertising is an important feature of daily life. So as we can see, adverts is transformed into advertising. So it's very close, they are two words very close to each other, but still. Major part, which was in the main sentence, is changed into important feature. Major part, important feature. And everyday life, the expression from the main sentence, is transformed into the daily life. Okay, using the synonyms, it can be organized like that. So that's about the first example of paraphrase. So let's think whether it's enough or not. In order to understand whether it's enough to produce a successful paraphrase, let's have a look at the second example of paraphrase of the same sentence. So here we can see the sentence which is the following. The influence of adverbs can be felt in all aspects of our lives. So how do you think? Which paraphrase is better and which paraphrase is more correct? So I would say that it's, of course, paraphrase number 2. So the second example will be for sure better, as the main idea is not just substituted with the synonyms, as in the first example, but the structure of the sentence is also changed. Because if to speak about the first example given, so here we can see that it's just substitutions with the synonyms, and it's not enough, as both structure of the sentence and the key words are to be paraphrased. So that's why the second example is better and is correct. The second original sentence, which we are going to paraphrase and I'd like you to have a look at, is the following sentence. Adverts for the soft drink have recently been banned for possibly encouraging playground bullying. Again, let's have a look at two possible examples. But we have to keep in mind that we are to follow the steps. So read the sentence, read it twice, pay attention to relationships among the ideas, have a look at the words which have the key meaning or so-called keywords, and try to paraphrase. So the first example is advertising for the fizzy drink has been disallowed recently for potentially leading to school bullying. And the second paraphrase, a ban on adverts has been implemented recently as some felt the content of fizzy drink could encourage school bullies. Again, the question is, which paraphrase, either the first or the second, is better and correct? Whether in which example we have only substitution of the words, and in which example both substitution of the words and the structure of the sentence, has been changed. So, and again, the answer will be the second example is better, as the main idea is not just substituted with the synonyms as in the first example. The structure of the sentence is changed as well, as to substitute is not enough for successful paraphrase. Let's go on and have a look at a small paragraph, like passage. So let's read the original text below, then highlight the words that you think are specialized words. And at the same time, let's highlight the words that should not be changed when paraphrasing. So let's read and think about like two groups of the words, those which should not be changed and those which can be changed or even should be changed. The United States, Germany, Japan, and other industrial powers are being transformed from industrial economies to knowledge and information-based service economies, whilst manufacturing has been moving to low-wage countries. In a knowledge and information-based economy, knowledge and information are the key ingredients in creating wealth. And here we are given the source where the passage is taken from. So the task is clear, to paraphrase and start with the words which should not be changed and those which should be changed. So how do you think? What are the words to be changed? Maybe you have any suggestions. You may, if you have any ideas, you may just message, put them on the chat, and I will read them out. If not, I will continue to comment. So if I'm given the task to highlight the words which are to be changed, I would do it in the following way. The words to be changed are here: industrial powers, transformed, whilst the construction has been moving, so move in present perfect continuous form, low wage, and key ingredients. and at the same time the words which are not to be changed. So the obvious thing is that we cannot change the names of the countries, the United States, Germany, Japan, economies as well, knowledge, information, manufacturing. So the first step of successful paraphrasing is already done. So we distinguish between the words which will be changed and those which will be not. The words which replace the key words in the original text can be the following, because the next thing after we have distinguished which words to be transformed and which are not to be changed, the next step is to think about any possible phrases or collocations which can replace the key words in the original text. So in the example given, I would like to introduce the following phrases. So have a look at the slide and you will see that other industrial powers can be replaced with economies such as, and later on they will be listed in the sentence. Transformed, like dramatic change. Whilst, as, has been moving, like shifts to. Low-wage countries, countries where wages are low. Okay, let it be like that. Key ingredients, like focus on. So if to replace the keywords with those phrases which are suggested, the paragraph or the passage which is paraphrased will look like this one. There has been a dramatic change in economies such as the United States, Japan, and Germany from industrial to service economies involved in knowledge and information. As manufacturing shifts to countries where wages are low, economic growth and information economies must focus on knowledge and information production. And at the very end of the sentence, before the full stop, the citation is provided. So it can be concluded that this example of paraphrase is acceptable because, as you remember, it's important to paraphrase both the keywords and change the sentence structure. So in the example given, we managed to change the structure of the sentence and provide some expressions which replace the keywords in the original paragraph. And to sum up everything mentioned, to give a short overview of all the ideas highlighted, let's have a look at successful academic so-called checklist, successful academic writing checklist. So like the key points you have to deal with while dealing with presentation. So first of all, avoid informal tense and contractions. Avoid second-person pronouns. Avoid emotive and exaggerated language. Avoid redundant words and phrases. Avoid unnecessary jargon and define terms where needed. It's also important. Present information as precisely and accurately as possible. Use appropriate transitions to show the connections between the ideas. Organize text logically using paragraphs and following the proper structure of the paragraph. Focus each paragraph on a single idea expressed in a clear topic sentence. Relate every part of the text to sample pieces or research questions. Support each claim with evidence. If you provide any, usually they are to be provided in academic writing, in a piece you are dealing with. Use appropriate verb tenses in each section and consistently use either British or US English. That is also important. Format numbers consistently as well, and what is important, last but not least, cite the sources using a citation style. 4 of them were highlighted in the presentation and we paid our attention to 4 widely used system or styles of citations. So be successful in your academic writing, and hopefully any of the ideas or issues highlighted today will come in handy while you are dealing with a piece of writing, getting ready with your essay, with your thesis, or just a scientific article, for example. So I would like to thank you for your interest and would like to get some questions, maybe comments. Maybe you can share your experience of dealing with academic writing, and let's have a kind of involvement. If you have any questions, you can put them on chat and I will read them out. So of course, lots of information about different tips which lead to successful writing are available everywhere online. So nowadays it's not a problem to check yourself and to find the information related to the way you are dealing with writing. So that's why you always have to know what format of writing you're going to keep to, and keep in mind all of the issues mentioned. Thank you for comment. Thank you for your interest in the topic, and be successful in your writing, be successful in everything you do. Thank you. Thank you for your presence today and for your interest. Finally, that was my last section in the framework of Erasmus Plus Mobility, and I would also like to say big thank you to all of you who joined the class, and to the Open University of Cyprus for giving me such a chance to be here and to know and see how everything is organized and gain some new experience. Thank you, all of you.